New tonight, if you have a child in Spokane Public Schools, you may have received a notice. Their school's water tested positive for lead.
So the findings follow the testing done on every sink and water fountain since the spring under a new state law. KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy is explaining what you need to know.
Maintenance crews have been positively humming after water at a dozen Spokane public schools tested positive for lead.
5 parts per billion is a microscopic amount of anything, right? Not just lead.
Small maybe, but for Kevin Grimm's crew,
it's a big deal.
Washington's legislature passed a lead action threshold in 2021, 5 parts per billion, much lower than the federal standard, 15 ppb. Under state law, schools built before 2016 have a heavy metal task, testing every faucet and fountain.
It has, yeah. We've learned a lot about lead that we never knew, that's for certain.
Federal and state agencies agree on one thing: there is no safe level of lead in children. The CDC says exposure can cause damage to the brain and nervous system, slow growth and development, and lead to problems with learning, behavior, hearing, and speech.
Yeah, we have had a couple of sites that have been in the double digits.
The district says most failed water fixtures were only slightly above the state's threshold. Grimm says it's not a district-specific problem either. Washington Department of Health results show 63% of schools had at least one fixture fail the test. Just over 10% of all fixtures tested were above the action level.
At first it was surprising until I did some research and realized that there's lead in all the drinking water. It's not just isolated to the schools.
Grimm says it's also not a pipe problem. He points to the source, Spokane's aquifer.
No, we don't have any lead pipes in any of our schools, so it's being introduced from the water that's piped into the school from like the street. The fixture is the end game of trapping the lead, essentially.
KREM 2 News called the city's water department for comment, but didn't hear back. While they're only mandated to turn them into hand wash only, SPS crews are replacing every impacted fixture.
So the fixtures we're replacing are 100% lead-free, they're called, which is something that is done in the whole entire state on new builds. So they're lead-free, which means any lead in the water won't stick to the inside of those fixtures.
For a full list of lead results in Spokane and other school districts, head to KREM.com. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.